The biggest mistake men make in dating is to be too logical and boring in their communication with women. I'm in a hotel room here in New York right now, just finished a in-person seminar with clients, a group of awesome guys, and they did extremely well. And I'm still a little bit wrecked, as you can hear, because Saturday was, I think, Friday to Saturday was 14 hours with clients, and then the next day it was amazing. I'm in a very fortunate position where I love my job, but I digress. What I want to share with you today is something that I've learned many years ago and relearned when I watch clients in interactions. And these guys some of them are business owners, some of them are in good positions working for the government, other guys are medical professionals, other guys work as management consultants, like really good, kind-hearted, ambitious, successful men. When they talk to women, they can be a little bit boring. And here's the value for you. Don't ask too many questions, please. Obviously, you will ask her questions on the date. Of course, you want to get to know her, but you have to assume the burden of the conversation. If you place the burden of the conversation on her, she will get bored. And then you have to create emotional spikes. You can't just flatline it. You have to communicate so freely that she becomes emotionally engaged. So instead of just talking about work and my goodness, the weather, you can go and tell stories. And they have to be your own stories, not my stories, not some pickup line. That nonsense doesn't work. But your own stories told in an exciting way. And one of the things that I help clients with, that I'm encouraging you to do here as well, is to tell your own authentic stories in a much more compelling way. And part of that is also about owning your state. That's something that I talk to the clients about. Sometimes you're going to have higher energy and you'll feel a little bit more hyped. Sometimes you're going to be a little bit calmer. Maybe you're a little bit calmer in nature. But owning your state is also important. So right now, I'm a lot calmer than usual because I slept 5 hours, 6 hours, 4 hours, and then 10 hours, 12 hours, 13 hours with clients. So completely wrecked after such a weekend seminar, but I love it. So you can hear I'm a little bit calmer. My voice is totally strained that I'm speaking through my nose because my nose is blocked. And that's the state that I'm in right now. A little bit more calm. Other times you'll see different videos, which you may have seen here on this YouTube channel, where it's more intense. Not because I'm putting it on, but because that's the state I'm in at that point in time. Counter argument to that, if you want to be effective in your communication with women, if you don't want to be so boring, if you want to create emotional spikes, is you also have to learn to manage your mental and your emotional state. You can't just say, well, my state is boring. That's authentically who I am. I'm just not that kind of guy. Be very careful what words follow I am, because you just define yourself. And Tony Robbins says that the strongest need we have as human beings is to stay congruent with who we believe we are. So once you define yourself as something, you will do a lot to keep it like that. So be cautious. Choose very wisely. Yes, understand you have certain tendencies. I'm ginger. I'll never change that. I'm a little bit more passionate and I love coaching. That I can never change. I'll always have to have a job that empowers people, that works with people, right? That's a natural tendency of mine. I remember I used to work for Salesforce. It's a very big technology company. And when I got out of college, it was my first real job. Straight out of college, I went into a very, very basic entry-level position at Salesforce. And my old manager, he was a really, really great guy. He said, David, you're too theatrical. You're too dramatic for the German market. Which is so true. And at the time, I tried to change it and be calmer and be more German. And yeah, you can fake it for a while, but eventually it destroys your soul. And I realized, no, it's not for me. I always had a big calling for meaning. I always knew that I needed to do work that really has a big impact on people's lives. And there's nothing wrong with working for a tech company. I really enjoyed that. I actually had a great manager at Salesforce. I had really awesome colleagues. We once went on a trip together, like all 9 of us, the boys from the team, colleagues. And we drove to the other side of Ireland, we climbed the mountain. That's how fortunate I was in that environment, by the way. That's a little story that you could tell. And then you could go into way more not politically correct details to make that story more exciting. So there's nothing inherently wrong with it. But for me, I had a greater sense of, and when I spend time with clients in person, most of the coaching we do is obviously remote, virtual. That's how I'm able to work with people from all around the world, US, UK, 38 other countries. But sometimes you do in-person events, and I love it so much. Not just because I selfishly enjoy coaching, which I do, but seeing the impact of somebody getting 9 phone numbers in a day, helping people with their online dating, getting 11 phone numbers in 48 hours like I did with a client of mine who's in London, who's a business owner in his 50s after we revamped his Hinge profile. And then it's not about the dates in and of themselves or the progression that they make towards a quality relationship, which they eventually find somebody that they're truly with. It's what it does for them to have a woman like that by your side. It gives you an added sense of purpose. You have somebody to share life with. Yeah, there's an intimate component. It's fun. You can build a life with. You can have a family with. You can come home to somebody. And who you become on that journey, because it's about self-actualization. I'm not changing anybody. I'm helping clients, and I'm encouraging you through these videos as well, to be way more of who you already are. Radically honestly, unfiltered, carefree. And it's so beautiful. And part of that, coming full circle to what I was saying earlier, is if you really want to create spikes, yes, own your state so it's authentic, but you also have to learn to manage your state and to put yourself into a mode of being that allows you to access conscious and unconscious competencies. It's called state-dependent memory. If you're in the right state, you're able to access anything, but you ever freeze, you're ever so nervous that you can't think of something even though you memorized it a couple of times beforehand. State-dependent memory is real. If you're in the right state, if you're in flow, and by the way, there's tools for that, plenty of tools, some of them that I discuss on my YouTube channel here, a lot of them that I teach in detail in my coaching program, that'll allow you to enter that state whenever and wherever you need to. Confidence, as much as it depends on a competence, is also a mental and emotional state that we can prime, as Gunther Schmidt calls it. You can prime a competent, confident mental and emotional state. You can learn to turn it on. And positivity and certainty, which is just another word for confidence, is so important. It is the state that you need to be in. Your number one job as a man in your interactions with women is to bring certainty. If she gives you a congruence test, you react with certainty. You're emotionally non-reactive. Not dead. You know these guys who are trying to be too cool for school? It's not who you are. You can show emotions, of course. Doesn't mean being vulnerable or weak, always positive and strong. But you validate your own spoken word. You have a strong frame. You understand the value that you bring to the interactions. And so, coming full circle to what I saw with the guys, until we corrected it, is that you oftentimes, you're so boring, bro. Jesus Christ. You are. If you're wondering why women lose interest in you after the first or second date, it's because you're just so boring. Know who you are. You are not boring. You are in your communication, your behavior, the way you tell stories is boring. And so just assuming the burden of the conversation, becoming more fun and playful, rewriting your own stories in a more fun and playful way. And it's not grandiose changes that you have to make. Sometimes they're very small changes that you have to make to how you communicate. And by the way, this doesn't mean that you have to become a stand-up comedian. You don't have to be, you know how people say you have to be super funny? No, you don't have to be super funny. You don't have to be, when I say fun and lighthearted, that doesn't mean funny. That doesn't mean you need to be a joker. But positivity and playfulness, that is key because that's what she's there for. She's not there for a logical exchange of information. Assume the burden of the conversation, tease her, challenge her playfully with warm intent because intention is what matters. You know how people make fun of others to put them down because there's only two ways to build the highest building in town. You either build your own or you tear everybody else's down. Some people are trying to tear your building down. Boundaries. Immediately. Iron gate. Boom. Gone. But if somebody has warm intent and the person, if it's a good friend, he or she loves you, or even just a stranger, but you want them to feel good, you want yourself to feel good, you just want to have fun. If the intent is warm, that people can make fun of you, you can take a joke, you'll make fun of them, banter, fun, lightheartedness, that is amazing. That makes us feel alive. Because remember, what do we do anything for in life? To feel happy. Now you might say, happiness is hedonism. No, I mean happiness in the sense of meaning, not hedonistic pleasure seeking with various substances, or short term as opposed to long term, but deep fulfillment, happiness, joy, meaning, whichever word you want to use. Anything we do is because we believe it's going to give us that emotional state, that experience. And yes, we have to do things for that and to build a family and have something of meaning that we're contributing to in objective reality, but it's also a state that we can access. And when you make somebody laugh, when you make somebody feel alive, when you make her feel alive on the date, then as opposed to going from here, where you're born, you're 0 years of age, all the way to 30, 40, 50, 60 years of age, over the next 3 and 4 months, everything you're doing over time, basically, all these things you're doing to achieve happiness, you just shortcut all of that. And right now, you're able to access what you actually want. That mental and emotional state that you want to experience, that you're doing everything for in life, you can access right here, right now, and you can give it to them. Now, obviously, I believe happiness is not just about you. Part of happiness is also making other people feel good, because you can't be truly happy if you're selfish. It doesn't work. Are we all partially selfish? Of course, 100%. But we're not just selfish. We as human beings will all do more for others than we will for ourselves. So allow yourself to just shortcut, bam, all of that and create a aliveness on the date. And if you're a man with a successful career or your own business and you would like me to help you personally find the right girlfriend or wife, click the link below and apply for a free initial consultation. Looking forward to speaking with you soon.